Hey everyone, welcome back to Rooster's weekly video update. This week, the Transport Secretary has said that despite countries saying they hope to welcome vaccinated British tourists from May, it is still too early to travel. Grant Shapps said there were still lots of questions to answer about how safe it will be to travel in June, and he added that it will remain illegal to travel internationally until at least the 17th of May. Mr. Shapps' statement has prompted a mixed reaction from the travel trade, with some saying he should not be advising against booking holidays, while others agreed that consumers should wait until the Global Travel Task Force report on the 12th of April. Greece will open to tourists from the 14th of May, provided they've received a COVID-19 vaccine, have antibodies, or supply a negative test result. The tourism minister confirmed the plan at the ITB Berlin trade show and said all tourists would also be subject to random testing. Jet2 Holidays and Jet2 have reported an immediate surge in bookings to Greece and Cyprus on the back of news that holidaymakers will be welcome to the Mediterranean destinations this summer. Bookings to Cyprus with the package holiday specialist and its sister airline jumped by 200% after the country's deputy minister for tourism said British nationals who've been vaccinated will be allowed to visit this summer. Andalusia is to offer COVID-19 travel insurance to international visitors staying in regulated accommodation this year. The region, one of Spain's most popular tourist destinations for Brits, has introduced its international travel insurance for non-resident travellers, which will be in place until the 31st of December. Cover does include medical, surgical, and hospital expenses related to COVID-19, up to €4,000, additional transportation and repatriation costs, plus the cost of an extended stay at regulated accommodation. Mallorca is also hopeful a travel corridor with the UK can be opened in time for the summer peak. Officials believe the island's 800,000 population can be vaccinated within the next 4 months, making a travel corridor with the UK a realistic prospect this summer. Any decision about travel to the island from the UK government would likely be swayed in Mallorca's favour if its population was shown to be vaccinated. People travelling internationally will be legally required to fill in a new travel declaration form from the 8th of March and will commit a criminal offence if they go to a departure port without a completed form. Although UK residents are currently banned from going on holiday until at least the 17th of May, they can still travel abroad legally for various reasons, such as work, volunteering, educational, medical, or compassionate grounds, and to attend weddings, funerals, and other related events. Heathrow says airport border queues are at unacceptable levels, with queues of 3 to 6 hours at border control, according to Emma Gilthorpe, Chief Operating Officer. Unions representing Border Force officials said the delays were partly caused by COVID restrictions requiring immigration officials to work in a bubble of 10. They said this prevented more staff being deployed if the border was particularly busy. And Mauritius has implemented a 2-week lockdown after 15 cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed. The Indian Ocean island nation will be under restrictions from the 25th of March, with visitors currently in the country asked to stay within their accommodation as its 1.4 million citizens remain at home. Over in social, it is no secret that Reels are a pretty straightforward attempt at slicing TikTok's quagmire, but Facebook is keen to get in on the action themselves. So Facebook owns Instagram, which is true, but we're talking about a new push in India to cross-post Reels straight to the news feed. India is the testing ground for all things Reels, as TikTok was banned in the country last year amidst a slew of other Chinese apps. As part of Twitter's push to more effectively commercialize, they're exploring new options for advertisers to own the conversations they're paying to create. So that means in this case, they're expanding conversation settings to the ad creation flow. So you'll now be able to control who can reply to your ads. Twitter's also continuing to push to usurp Clubhouse's dominance with the social graph they've spent 10 years building. Twitter's head of consumer products on a podcast with The Verge recently said the company is looking to build a way to save conversations down so replay them later. Clubhouse is developing like a black market of this, with some users recording sort of Clubhouse conversations and posting them to YouTube for later, but expect the Twitter version to probably include slightly better attribution straight back to your handle. Instagram's added a new caption sticker to Instagram stories for generating closed captions. It's apparently in testing, seems to have rolled out accidentally for some people, but it will, as it says in the tin, automatically generate captions on Instagram stories, which have notoriously been bad for accessibility and inclusion. We mentioned last week that Facebook seems to be the only social ad platform who's displaying any concern about iOS 14 at all, but Snapchat has now just launched an iOS 14 resource hub to help advertisers prepare for what's changing. They're also hosting a webinar today at 11 a.m. Pacific time to run any advertisers through what's about to change. A recording of that will be available afterwards if you are otherwise preoccupied, and you can find a link to register for that webinar in the article. Slightly related, Snapchat's also partnered with a media company, Gannett, to help sell small and medium businesses on Snapchat ads potential to reach younger audiences. Business is looking to aggressively scale its revenue in the future after posting a 62% increase in Q4, and the CEO recently predicted multiple years of at least 50% growth. Meanwhile, Google presses on in its quest to do away with third-party cookies altogether, like the Facebook Pixel, for tracking users for advertising. They've been researching implementation for a while through the Privacy Sandbox, and they suggest that advances in aggregation, anonymization, on-device processing, and other privacy-preserving technologies offer a clear path to replacing individual identifiers. There's not really a lot to report on here other than the fact that they're working on it, but it is an interesting kind of partnership with respect to the iOS 14 rollout. So expect the next generation of internet advertising to include a lot more sophisticated retargeting. It doesn't have so much to do with just kind of tracking you across the internet very personally. And Twitter's been found to be testing a feature that lets you unsend tweets during a brief period after you post. It's not quite an edit button, which does have all sorts of ramifications on virality on the platform, but it does at least let you fix typos that you spot only as you tweet, which is where you find them all. And Jack Dorsey, at Jack, Twitter's co-founder and CEO, has listed his first tweet for sale as a non-fungible token, or NFT for short. NFTs are an interesting new intersection between art, crypto, and consumerism. NBA's Top Shot is a good example. Exactly how they kind of develop as a technology is a bit uncertain right now, but Jack is currently selling his tweet to raise money for charity. And the current asking price for the tweet, a screenshot of the tweet, is $2.5 million US, just in case you were concerned. There's not enough money floating around right now. That's all from us this week. Don't forget you can read the rest of the article on the link as always, and stay tuned next week for even more. Cheers.